we argued that both Costco and Target have the same business risk as Walmart. However, these comparables might be used in a different capital structure, and as a result, their equity beta will reflect a different financial risk than the financial risk of Walmart. To solve this issue, we will compute the business risk of the comparable firms from their equity betas. We learned how to do this in our last module. Let's start with Costco. Here is the equation to unlever the equity beta. We need Costco's equity beta, its net debt, and its market capitalization. First, let's compute its net debt. I gave you the balance sheet of Costco as of May 7, 2017. This was the latest available at the time I did these calculations. The debt level is the short-term debt and the current portion of the long-term debt plus the long-term debt. The total debt is therefore $3.979 billion. The cash in this case is the sum of cash and cash equivalents and short-term investments. The reason we include short-term investments is that this is an asset that is not related to operations. Adding these two leads to this broad definition of cash of $5.725 billion. Computing the net debt as debt minus cash leads to a net debt of minus $1.746 billion. Note that the net debt is negative. There is nothing wrong with this. It just means that the firm has more cash than it has debt. We will plug this negative value into the equation. To compute the market capitalization, I'm giving you a table with the number of shares outstanding for Costco and the most recent share price. The value of equity is the product of the two, that is $68.705 billion. By the way, we could have alternatively looked for the market cap of Costco directly from a financial website. Finally, the table shows you the equity beta of Costco. You can obtain this number in any of the financial websites. Plugging the numbers into the equation leads to an asset beta of 0.998. Note one thing here. Costco's asset beta, that is its business risk, is slightly higher than its equity beta, its equity risk. If you remember our discussion of financial and business risk, this result might seem puzzling. Recall that when a firm has positive net debt, the risk of the equity is higher than the business risk because the equity also carries financial risk. How come are we getting the opposite in this example? The reason is the negative net debt. When net debt is negative, the firm has more cash than it has debt. Cash is safe, and hence it contributes to making equity safe. For Target, we follow the exact same process to unlever its beta. We collect information on its net debt, equity, and equity beta and apply the formula. Note that Target's net debt is positive, so as expected, its equity beta is higher than its asset beta.